Hello. Today I'm going to be reviewing Tales of Kenzera ZAU, an EA original released on April 23rd. This Metroidvania style game developed by certain studios and published by Electronic Arts under their indie arm. That's all EA original means. Tales of Kenzera is available to play on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5, Windows, via Steam for me, and Xbox Series X and S, respectively. Wield the dance of the shaman. Reclaim your father's spirit. Brave the beautiful and treacherous land of Kenzera with the god of death. Bum bum bum. This game is inspired by Abubakar Salim, the game's creative director, and his experience specifically in dealing with the grief of his father's passing and those stories his father had shared with him about the Bantu culture. Let me give you a direct quote of him so that's way you can get a feel of what I'm saying. My pitch wasn't layered or colored in the idea of just trying to be just a black story. It is, at its heart, a human story, which I think is key, but at the same time, I'm telling the story from my perspective, and I happen to be black and African. End quotes. Now, at first I was like, where is this going? Because I was thinking it was the all lives mattering approach, but it wasn't. I identify with the last sentence, of course, but just seeing like the fervor and passion that he has when he is describing his process, his ideas, and just thinking when it came to the development of this, it's very interesting. And just seeing his passion at the Game Awards last year put this on my radar and listed support for sure. And let's not lie to ourselves here. Representation is clearly an important thing. Of course, you'll have people that say, oh my God, it's just games. It doesn't matter. It kind of does. Even though I fully won't write off a game due to it not having representative aspects and features, because we simply don't have a choice sometimes. But again, for the love of the game, playing it and having that enjoyment, it's just like the unique approach because you're seeing. So that's probably the best way I can put it. If you're not of, I can't really put it in a way that you're going to understand wholly, but I hope that makes sense for some of you who are on the side of, it's just a black game. We don't need da da da. It doesn't need to be that. We don't have the red color and like it's an issue that exists. I'm not just gonna not acknowledge it and just continue sweeping it under the rug. But what I will do is when I do have the chance to represent content like this, games like this, I'm going to give them a try and my honest opinion, of course. This is why we're here, people. Hello. But as you know, I'm very nosy. And Metroidvania inspired action adventure games, they're just a favorite for me. So if you are an explorer like myself, which is a nice way of saying nosy, continue to listen for the highlights. The story and lore keep you interested from the beginning. Clearly, I was already invested, but the writing is immersive and held my interest. It's very straightforward and doesn't take much to understand. Comes with a lot of underlying messages and just kind of like lessons without being preachy. The graphics, visually, it's beautiful. Even if you just look at the cover art and just watch a little bit of gameplay, the vibrant colors and design are pretty dope. The interactions with the environment and the UI in this case are great. Also, the voice acting was A1. Usually, accents in general, they get on my nerves. Yes, the person that loves noise and making noise and sounds. But yeah, they're well done here. And they didn't do the most to connect with the culture to where it feels forced, put on, jokey, and just corny. And the lowlights. This is nitpicky, but bear with. The map. I mean, it does its job, but the interface isn't as robust as it could be. You're gonna be using your map a lot. So yeah, I feel like it could have been tweaked a little bit better, especially when it comes to the design of the map itself, in order to be more useful. It's useful, but a little lacking in that area. The puzzles. Don't get me wrong, it's engaging, but I want more challenges. Like, especially playing these styles of games, like that's a big part of it. Like solving things, basically traversing while trying to figure out how to get to the next part, how to unlock certain areas, and so on without giving anything away, of course. Especially as you unlock certain abilities, I feel like that could have been pushed a little bit more. Even with the higher difficulty, it's just kind of like, okay. But again, this is a me thing. Combat gets repetitive after a while, but of course, that's going to happen. I feel like with any game almost. There's only so much you can do in the space, which is understood. And especially like when you're playing certain bosses and enemies, I'll say, you're going to be using a lot of the same combos or similar combos. And now for the rating, of course. I typically do a scale of 1 through 5 just to keep things, well, kind of to forcedly keep things more specific. There's a lot of room for mid when it comes to 1 through 10. That's why I typically stick with 1 through 5. 1 through 5 is like the hit or miss scale for me. It's perfect. But Tales of Kenzera ZAU for me is a 3.5 out of 5. I applaud this game for holding my attention. It gave me something new to play aside from upholding democracy. And truly, it was fun while it lasted. However, I'm feeling like this won't hold replay value, but I can see this becoming a series of games. I see more creative direction in Abubakar's future and look forward to his future work. Shout out to EA for giving him a chance. Check out Raised by Wolves on HBO Max. Or do I just say Max now? Because everybody's like simplifying their brand. Whatever. Check him out on Max in Raised by Wolves. You can see him acting. He plays the father. And get into his interviews again if you're interested to hear more of his perspective and approach. Lastly, I would recommend this game to those of you who are fans of Prince of Persia, Ori, or Hollow Knight. If you're looking for a good title to escape for a little bit, just check it out. It's not going to be as in depth, it's not as complex, but it's still a good time. Be sure to connect with us via Spotify poll in the Q&A sections, leaving your thoughts about Tales of Kenzera Zal if you've played it or are planning to play it. You can also do so on Instagram, X, YouTube, or verbalvibemode.com. Feel free to leave a voicemail. All links are in the description box. Peace.